want to join the call. I love that Discord song. You know what I mean?
You're playing. You're singing over Grandpa. I just letting you know that right now.
I'm singing over Grandpa. 1220, Jess. I'm getting into the top 1200 soon.
Oh shoot! No, don't play this next song. That's gonna give you copyright. No, don't do that.
I'm my own grandpa.
You were literally singing over a song called
I'm
Grandpa that
my
was from
own
YouTube. But
grandpa.
welcome to the next episode
It sounds
podcast.
funny, I know, but it really is so. I'm my own grandpa.
It was episode 16 of the Anime4All podcast. I'm calling this one Golden Tip. Uh,
Oh.
I don't know if I should be proud of this or ashamed. I'm gonna be both. Just for the sake of this. Um, Before we start off here, I counted up the episodes, and we were at 20 episodes now for season 4.
Episode 83.
I'm a little bit scared because I think this might be the final arc of the season, and that upsets me because I know where this ends off, and it really is ticking me off. So yeah, and I don't know if it's gonna be a season 5. I know you're optimistic, but at the same time, they could easily say they're not earning enough money off of this, and Stereo Bones could just stop doing this.
This
Just,
is the
just,
weakest season.
just saying.
Yeah, this is definitely the weakest season.
I disagree with you. I've enjoyed every single bit of it.
Okay, but would you say it's better than any of the other seasons?
Better how? Can you give me like a scale of something to view this as? Because there are fights that I've enjoyed. There are fights I've enjoyed. There are episodes
If
I've
you want a
enjoyed, but
scale of 1 to 4, 4 being the worst, and the best season being the number 1, and you can only give a 1, 2, 3, or 4 to every season, which one would you place this season in?
you said 4 being the worst.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with this scale. Before I even put in it, I couldn't even give season 4 a 4 because I don't think it's the worst. I
What's
only
the worst season?
I'm legitimately saying I don't think any of these seasons are the worst.
What season is better? Is worse than this one?
As I was saying, I think these all for me fall in the whole category of I've enjoyed every single minute of this. I watched plenty of the anime, and this is just one of this is just one of the animes that I've actually fallen in love with.
Okay, so season 4, episode 1, which was a giant recap with the guy that could make a camera come out of his body. That was one of those episodes that you enjoyed every single minute of.
Yeah, for a majority of the part, I will say some of that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, it was filler, so it didn't have nothing to do with the actual comic and manga.
Yeah.
So it had nothing to do with it. And granted, you also gotta point out this show came back in October, I think, of last year. So it came back at a very awkward time for shows. Period. At least for me, I watch a lot of stuff in October, but at the same time, I did enjoy this season. Like I don't think it's worse or better than anything. I think it's middle of the road for me. Um,
Yeah.
because it does what any other season did. It just sets up, and unless the events happen, I will say I already stated my gripes with Overhaul. I don't think he for me is probably one of the worst villains. Strictly because of his ambition, and um I I enjoy my hero for being able to sympathize with the villains sometimes, and I could sympathize with like a little bit with All for One, but only a little bit, not a lot. I could not, and there's nothing you could say to me to make me sympathize or overhaul. He's did nothing to make me feel sorry for the guy. Everything he did was all his own fault, all the way to the end. Even when he lost his ability to bring back his father,
And
everything he did was his fault.
you know what I can say for him though? At least he wasn't a bad father.
Endeavor is not a villain.
Whoa! I say bad father, and you immediately think of Endeavor.
That's where you're going with that. There's no other.
At least he
There,
wasn't a bad father. There's a lot of things.
he wasn't a father. Of course, he was a bad father. He literally cut, sliced, and diced Eri. He didn't care about her.
That wasn't his kid.
Yet he still played the role of keeping everything hidden that was his kid.
What do you mean?
Anytime anybody asked who this little girl was, because she was so afraid, his cover was that she was his daughter. Essentially, even in public, whenever she got away, he would always play the role that she was his daughter.
Yeah, but that doesn't make him a bad father. He's not a father.
And the concept of what he's trying to be in public, yes, he's a bad father.
He looks like a bad father, but he's not a bad father.
Moving on. I mean, I know you don't like this season a lot. You've already stated your, grievances and everything like that.
I was trying to say something nice about him, that he's not a bad father. And then you got really angry at me.
Because you are going for Endeavor. That is not what you are doing.
No, all I said was it wasn't a bad father, and all of a sudden you immediately thought of Endeavor. I don't know what connection you made between Endeavor and bad father, but it was just came out immediately. Like it was just I said.
No, because you were attacking Endeavor. You were attacking Endeavor. Don't try to turn this around. No, you were attacking Endeavor. There is no way. There is no way. No way that you are not mentioning or thinking of him. Because you've already made your stance on him already, and that right there. Because like you said before, he's not a bad father. Where did the father come from with Shisaki? That made no sense. There was no connection. So that obviously wasn't. That was obviously not a comment for Chisaki. It was a comment for another character.
If you say so. I could have meant Midoriya's father.
I don't even know where he is right now.
Exactly.
Or if he's even still alive.
What a deadbeat.
Or if he's even still alive.
But Midoriya, Midoriya placed in the tournament. He got into a big school, that was really hard to get into.
He could be dead, or he could be doing some really important work study.
He helped All Might in a significant fight. Where was the father? Did he get a letter from his father? No. Did his father get concerned about him? No. When the mother was trying to pull him out of the university because he was in trouble, did the father come and try to get involved in the decision? No.
On the whole concept,
childhood memories growing up. Do you ever remember a scene from his father ever? No.
He was mentioned. I mean, his mother brought up that he.
All I'm theoretically saying is that I could have meant Midoriya when I said bad father.
I'm lucky you're trying to turn this around. No, you're not doing this. I know what you're doing. I'm not allowing it to happen. And on the concept or the conceptual theory on his father. Mm-hmm. At this point, yeah, he is a bad man, but at the same time, we don't know if he's alive or not. Granted, they never stated he was dead, but still, I mean, at this point in the series, you have to assume that he might be dead, unless otherwise stated. So as being a bad father, maybe, but he's dead, so he kind of gets a pass. Because he can't just show up out of nowhere. I mean, this isn't like Naruto where your dead parents could come back to life through some super technique, but beside the point.
I think Midoriya's father is secretly Dabi. I think that's going to be a big reveal that we get later.
Who?
Dabi is Midoriya's father.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Okay, if you say so.
Being serious, what similarities do Dabi and Deku have anyway? Just wanting to ask. I just want to know this now. What
they
similarities do they share?
they both have a tragic past related to quirks.
Deku doesn't have a tragic past related to a quirk. He was just born
Yes,
without
he
a
does.
power.
His lack of having a quirk meant that he grew up like bullied to the point where he gave him his superhero name Deku to like kind of overcome the bullying that he faced as a kid and throw it back in their face.
By that logic, I had a tragic backstory. Like every nerd in America had a tragic backstory by that logic.
I'm really sorry to hear that, Jeremy. I didn't know that you were bullied growing up.
On to the episode. I forgot the name of it actually. Wait a minute, let me just pull this
You
up.
were calling it cold tips.
Well, I was calling this episode Gold Tips, but I need to know what the actual episode was. Oh, okay.
Gold tips imperial.
Okay, I knew I was making that connection for some reason. I just need to be reminded. I I just needed to be reminded. Okay, this is I don't know how I can make a segue from gold tips, but we're gonna start at the very beginning of the episode. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, I guess everybody's preparing for the festival, and we see Toga's hiding behind a bush. Which, by the way, the events that preceded this are pretty funny. He thinks he's being sneaky and that no one can find him. He looks so proud of himself, and all of a sudden, Midoriya and I guess Sue and Uraraka spot him out there, and he's just got this stale look on his face.
You know what's kind of sad about this, and I'm not kidding anymore about stuff. Um, his hiding behind the bush and like being reduced to comic relief sort of reminded me of All Might's losing his quirk because All Might still tries to like be something, but like if he goes jogging, he starts coughing up blood. If he has a strong emotion, he starts coughing up blood, stuff like that. Lemillion like lost his power and like he was so elusive and so like stealthy when he was like able to phase through things. You know what I mean? He could literally pop in and out of existence almost, like to the point where like one of the first times we see him is when he sneaks up on Midoriya and comes out of nowhere and his face just pops out of a wall and he's like, oh, I just want to check you out. And now like he's hiding behind a bush and using his butt and saying, what did he stuck his butt out and said it was a peach or something, and like out of the bush. And like it made me a little bit sad, even though he's like still like doing the smile thing. Like we know that like he's
Before you
decided he's
continue, I just want to
yeah.
point out I took a bite of apple pie and I muted myself to eat it. But then when we asked the question about what did he say about his butt and the peach, I was speaking as if though I was speaking through my mic and you were talking over me, so I didn't know what was happening. So I realized that my mic was muted. But continue.
It's okay. So I just felt bad because like I feel like he's a little bit All Might right now, that like All Might gave up his powers and now he can't really do anything, but he tries and he goes jogging and stuff like that. And here we have Lemillion like trying to like fit in and do things, but like hiding behind a bush is such a poor replacement for the huge stealth mode that he had before, when like he could pop out his head out of like a wall and be like, I heard a lot about you, and just freak the other person out because they don't know what's going on. And like it's such a fall from grace for him. And I know he's still got the hero inside of him, that hasn't changed at all, but I just feel bad that like this is what he's been reduced to as far as like what he's able to do.
Okay, serious mode. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to just shatter this whole thing. At the same time, I understand where you're coming from, but I think Lemillion's situation is a little bit different than All Might's, and also the fact that unlike All Might, there's still hope that he can get his quirk back. That's at the end of the day. I'm not gonna sit here and say that unfortunately, he's been reduced to comedic relief, because he's kind of always been comedic relief. Every single thing he did, it wasn't really until he fought. It wasn't really until he fought Chisaki when when the full strength of his ability came through. Because beforehand he was nothing more than comedic relief. I mean, yeah, he did beat up Class 1A, but there was still a lot of comedic stuff going on. He was losing his clothes every time he did a move. Yeah, he was explaining how his quirk worked, but he was still comedic relief. I don't think he
He
was
was
ever
both
reduced to
comedic
anything.
relief and like a big source of mystery and really powerful and able to kind of go circles around everybody and the
He
person
still
that
got
like
that though. You just can't go through anything now. That's really what
he
it comes
can go
down to.
circles around anybody. And then like he was always spoken about in like hushed tones by all of the like the teachers and stuff like that as his first choice, their first choice as far as class 1A went, and in the senior group, and like everything about him was like a big deal. And now his butt's a peach, and like I don't know, like I said, I still think he's a good guy and everything, but I just really want to see him get his powers back because I feel bad for him. Like I feel bad for the situation he's in.
I get that, but you're making it seem like this man died and he didn't. Like, I mean, I get where you're coming from, but it's like at the same time, it's like the only thing in my viewpoint. I mean, this won't change how you see this, but from my viewpoint, he's still the same guy he was, power and all. The only thing that was ripped from his grip was just the fact that he can go through anything. I mean, he can no longer go through objects. Which I mean, yeah, that's a huge like depowering thing. But at the same time, when he first had his quirk, it was really it was very not good. I mean, it literally took him years to even learn how to do what he was able to do. At this point, in my viewpoint, even if he weren't able to get his power back, he's still a threat, and he's still not to be not to be to be toyed with. And in a real way, if anything, he's a good representation that you can be a hero without a quirk. He'll just have to work a little bit harder than most people who have an ability. Which I mean, he's no
You already
stranger
said
to.
that you could be a hero without a quirk with Midoriya, but yeah.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like he'll be the first representation of something that actually could happen because Midoriya was told he couldn't.
Mm.
So like he never got a chance. Midoriya never got a chance to really try to be a hero without a quirk because he was told that he couldn't. In the world of superpowers, he was not allowed. He wouldn't be of much use. But now we're seeing that even without a quirk, all that training that Midoriya did just to even like. Granted, I mean, I guess he's a little bit different because he had an ability and he lost it. But regardless, he's still a hero without a quirk, and he's shown that he can still handle somebody with a quirk. Like it's not something he's not capable of doing. Like one of his like greatest assets is thinking 5 steps ahead of somebody. So yeah, he lost his
Yeah.
ability. He lost his ability to go through objects, but at the same time, that was more of like a defensive mechanism than anything else. Because like if anything, anytime he hit somebody, that wasn't his quirk. That was his own strength.
Yeah.
So he literally sent people flying. He was just that strong. So at the end of the day, like I think his situation is a little bit different than All Might. I get where you're coming from. That at this you feel bad for him, and I'm not saying I don't feel bad for him. I just think I would feel a lot worse if all his combat ability went out the window when he lost his quirk. I think that
Yeah,
would
I
be
agree with you on that.
I
I
think
think
that's
you're
a little bit
missing the
different.
point of what I'm saying a little bit, but I do totally agree with you. What I mean is like when he's around the others, like he's acting a little bit like the comic relief that he's acting like now is like sort of ironic in the same way that All Might's comic relief is ironic. Like All Might turns into muscle form and then like pops out of it and goes and like vomits blood or something like that. And like then otherwise he's just kind of like a mellow version of himself. And I just when I saw Lemillion like trying to hide and he did the butt in the bush, it was kind of like I got the same feeling that I got way back the first time I saw All Might like go in a muscle form and pop out of it because he couldn't hold it now. And it was just like it was like, oh, like that was like exactly who like everything about you. That's exactly who you were, was that big strong man like that you're popping in and out of right now, and you can only do that little flash of yourself. And with Lemillion, like you trying to pretending like his butt was a peach, like I was the same thing. I was like, oh, Lemillion, like there was a time in your life when you could have done incredible things to like not be seen, and like it's just sad that it's become a joke. You know what I mean? You try not to be seen as like literally become a joke in the same way that All Might trying to look muscular became a joke, once he lost his power. I know that Lemillion is still a threat in a lot of different ways. Not as much of a threat. Like Lemillion with powers could beat Lemillion without powers any day. We have to definitely say he's lost some of his tools for like being a hero. Like I understand that he could still become something pretty strong, like as a hero, but like it's just that like way the show is reminding you just how depowered he is in the same way that they did it with All Might.
I don't know. Maybe because I just gone through this already when I read the manga, so I've already gone through the grieving of like Lemillion. I just don't, and I'm not saying I don't feel bad for him. I do. I freaking do. At the same time, it's just one of those things where I've always viewed him as a comedic relief. It's just that when he fought Chisaki, that's when I got like, geez, this guy is strong vibe. I don't think for me he hasn't lost any of that comedic relief, and always was comedic. And even with his powers gone, and he was doing that whole Peach thing, I didn't really think about it like that. As him as a very pathetic attempt. Hmm?
Like the writers are kind of like poking fun of him outside in the same way that they poke fun at All Might outside of the third wall, you know? Putting him
I
in
know.
those situations.
I just feel like it's a lot. I just feel like it's different for All Might and like Lemillion in my eyes. I just don't see them like on the same plane of existence right now. I really don't.
Because you're taking it very literally and you're saying, oh, Lemillion still is young and
No, no,
capable.
no. Like what I'm saying, I don't really see. I mean, for me, I feel like his like I feel like what they're doing with them is too different because like yeah, All Might's literally in a situation where like he's comedic relief now because he can't do anything and half the things he's done is a joke. But I don't think for me, All Might wasn't coming in as a joke. He was coming in as a superhero, as an unbeatable force. Lemillion came in as a joke with being BA thrown in there. It wasn't like he came in being badass and he was thrown as little jokes are thrown in. Now he's being relegated to jokes now. He came in as a joke and he just had extra things thrown in and now he's just being relegated back to being a joke now. You know, like
But the problem is we got to know him. We realized how important it was for him to like be uplifting and have a smile on his face, just like All Might. And they spent a lot of time drawing subtle links between his personality, maybe to some extent his appearance, and All Might's. And like you start seeing, like, wow, he really would have been a good fit as the inheritor of One for All. And they don't just jerk you into it; like they build up to it slowly in subtle ways. And then by the time like he comes out of it, like you quickly like I've got to keep my face on. You know what I mean? Like I owe it to this little girl and that I wanted to save, and I owe it to everybody else to keep a smile on my face and keep giving people that joy. And like he recognized that one of his roles, like one of the heroic things about him, was to keep a smile on his face. You know, which is something that Midoriya never quite picked up from All Might. Like Midoriya saw him always saving people with a smile on his face, but Midoriya's always struggled to have that smile. Like he's a very serious. And the joke with him is very often that he's overly serious, that he mutters to himself and like writes in his notebook and gets like manic and stuff like that. Like they play that up like a lot. So I don't know. By the time like he got to this point and he's smiling, I feel like I look at that and I'm like, well, he's smiling because he chose to smile, not just because he's a smiley kind of guy.
I think it's because we're viewing Lemillion in two different ways. I think that's what it comes down to. Maybe that's why I guess I understand where you're coming from. I do truly understand, but I think it's because I'm viewing Lemillion in a different way than you are, and also I've already gone through that process of like coming to terms, with the way he is now, like months ago. I think that's what it came down to. Because I don't know. I don't know how, if I feel this way if I hadn't known what was going to happen to him. But that's it. I'm viewing him as like I feel like the fact that he's been relegated a joke. I just think that was just part of his character to begin with, and I don't think I'm not saying I think it's a bad thing, but it's just one of those things where like I've noticed he's always a jokey character, and it's just that he was capable of fighting, and it was just like it's one of those things. Now he's just less capable of fighting. He's still dangerous, but now he's relying on his jokey personality. You're seeing it as like, well, now that he's not really usable right now in a fight, they're now that he's there, they're gonna have to use him as something. So they're using comedic relief, showing you that he's still unable to, like, I guess, be back on the pedestal that he was earlier. But I don't know. I still don't think he was ever really. He was really good. He was really freaking powerful. I will say that much. I just don't. I just didn't view him like that. Even after the fact when he fought Chisaki, it was just one of those things where like I saw a guy trying to make a little girl smile. If anything,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, throughout this entire episode, Eri wasn't smiling. She's having trouble with doing that. Granted, we also did find out she'd forgotten how to smile. Um, I'm just trying to think. Did she smile at all during that rescue arc? I don't think she did.
No, I don't think she smiled yet.
But yeah, I mean, I can see. Yeah, I mean, like this is kind of interesting and a little bit sad that he's got comedic relief and he's showing his butt. I as a peach, I don't know. I didn't view it as like I guess a comedic graveyard as much as you did, but
Right.
I just saw it as him being himself because I didn't see any real change. The only change I ever saw in his character was when he was being serious, and that was a shock because I honestly didn't think he was capable of being serious. But eh. And I said before, I think I still have that hope there that he'll get his quirk back. I don't know if he does. That's something that's left up to. As of right now, he doesn't have he's quirkless, but going on that, he's got this stale face, which I just thought was pretty funny. Uh, as he was just disappointed. Um, Essentially now they're like, I guess we continue on. Now they're like preparing for they're preparing for the festival. Each group is doing their own thing. Like the band is reciting, and Bakugo's the drummer and saying, "We're going to kill everything with our performance." And I just think that's a very Bakugo thing to say.
What's the name of that support girl with the pink hair and like the
Hatsume.
Hatsume? I thought it was interesting to see Hatsume again, especially because they introduced her with that little flying eyepiece that like bumps into them in the woods.
Well, that's
So
after the fact, I think, because like that's after he goes to because like they first see her in the thing in her lab screwing things up,
yeah,
and she's asking about the Iron Souls to see if they're working. Um, but yeah, with the festival, everybody in the support group, like, is put together. She brings up the fact that like the Olympic thing, it was more for the hero courses. They were just thrown in there as a way to show off what they're capable of doing. It wasn't anything real serious for them. This festival, however, is putting them out on the front stage, and they gotta pull out their best stuff. And we see that she's building a robot, which by the end of the scene ends up blowing up. And apparently, we also see that apparently her blowing things up is kind of a common occurrence because this robot's named 202. I was sitting there thinking, geez, man, she built 202 of these things? Like, how fast is she able to do this? Like, it's anything. If there's a character outside the hero course that I'm waiting, I can't wait to see when I guess when they're older and whenever they're at their highest. Kind of like how that guy from the movie that was All Might's sidekick who made support items. I think Hassan is one of those characters I want to see, like, because I mean the that junk dude, I forgot his name, Junkrat,
mm-hmm.
like that guy with the thing on his face, the construction equipment. He's saying that you might want to befriend her now, while she's still I guess impressionable, because she might be really helpful for you in the future.
Yeah.
So I guess they're still reinforcing that whole Hazume is definitely somebody you probably should get to know now because if you don't now, you're probably gonna have a hard time talking with her when she's older.
She's gonna be too big for you.
Hmm?
She's gonna be too big for you. She's gonna be sought after because she's gonna be good at what she does.
Well, I hope that's what they're leading. That she's just very clumsy right now, and that's why things blow up. Um,
Well, I think they're all learning. That's the theme of everybody. None of
yeah,
them
I
are
know, I
perfect.
get that, but I'm just hoping that she is actually a genius, amongst creators, but she's just very clumsy, and that's why things
She
blow up.
totally is.
And that's why things blow up. Because I think if any support character I've seen, half the stuff she's made actually worked. When it didn't blow up.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, was very few times that it blew up. Uh, I want to say that I don't think anything blew up around her until we saw it the first time inside the lab. because I think her stuff actually worked out during the hero course thing. So a lot of the stuff she
I
made
think she just,
when she was blown, it didn't really blow up.
I think she just keeps up at it until she gets it right.
No, I get that, but I'm talking about on the field, the stuff that she showed off, as she was trying to get publicity, it didn't blow up. Things only
No,
blow
true.
up when she's in the lab. So I get that she's working on it, but at the same time, I think this is like, I guess for the fact that things blow up a lot less than you would think of a character with her personality. You would think a lot of things would not work with her because of how eccentric she is, but clearly it didn't work because she's managed to make a lot of stuff. She's even helped Deku out with his costume, gave him steel souls and stuff like that. Uh,
Right.
well, she's definitely capable of producing support items. I guess with Hatsumi, we can I guess segue into the whole. As you said before, they did run into her in the forest with All Might and Deku talking about and Deku training his long range attack, and we find out it actually hurts his finger, his ring finger, and
Mm-hmm.
All Might's first giving him ice. But I think the one thing I find interesting about this whole situation in the forest is that Hatsume's eyeball machine comes flying at them, and All Might's reflexes are so good that he's able to grab it. I think that's impressive for where All Might is right now in terms of like his retirement. He's still got enough reflexes to catch a flying eyeball. Now that might not be too impressive, but at the same time, it's still impressive that he's capable of doing that.
It speaks volumes about his experience and training.
I think it's just reflexes. If anything, I don't think it's much anything about his reflexes. I think they're still there.
He caught it without looking at it, and he knew it was. I mean, he would have had
Reflex,
to. He would
reflex.
have had to guess its trajectory without looking. He would have had to know that it was something large enough to catch, but not so large that, like, if it hit his hand, it would something. He would have had to, like, I don't know. There was a lot going into that. Like, that's hard. Like, some of those ability,
I honestly think it's just a reflex. I think because yeah, it's training, but I really do think it's just a reflex. I think he's used to catching things thrown at him.
I think
I,
you're a,
hmm?
I think you're a reflex.
Thank you? Question mark.
I think it's more than that. I think it was, especially if we look at like Japanese culture. Like if they were like ninjas and someone threw a ninja star at him from behind, he caught it without looking at it. You would think, oh my god, he's a ninja. Like I don't think it's just a mindless reflex. I don't think anybody but All Might or some other pro hero like of his level like would have been able to do something like that, especially without anyone saying anything. Like like if you ever did that, everybody would stop. They'd be like, "Holy crap! How did you do that?"
I think I'll just
So
say a
I think it was
reflex.
very obvious All Might.
I really do think it was just one of those like fine tuned that he trained. He just trained his body to move like that. I'm not saying his entire body can do that, but I
So
feel like
why are you? I don't understand why you're saying it's not training but reflex, but then you're admitting that you have to train reflexes like that.
I'm not saying I think at the end of the day it's just a reflex that he had to normally catch things. I'm not saying you can't train a reflex. I'm just saying that I feel like it's one of those things in his mind that I think it's just one of those pulses in his brain. I think he has spatial awareness, but I still think that it was a reflex.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's just one of those things where yeah, he definitely did train his entire life, and I'm pretty sure that his reflexes were one of them things. But I'm just saying it was still impressive. My point was that even though he's depowered and he's like retired and he hasn't done much more than run, that I'm surprised that a reflex like that still works. So regardless, it's still an impressive. It's still an impressive on a scale of a reflex. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing that he was still able to do that, and apparently it wasn't flying too hard that it didn't break his arm. Uh, but I guess it's also amazing. But Hatsume is in the woods flying around her baby Mark III. I guess where wherever this is.
Right.
Um, apparently, she even brings up that apparently at some point before now, Deku asked her about a glove enhancement, and she said that she was gonna do it after the tournament. But apparently, she was on her break, so she used her break to use something that she already had made and enhance it so he can use it on his hands.
You mean that wasn't code for asking for a hand job?
Sure,
The
and
way he was
I'm not even gonna
being
humor that.
attracted to her.
I'm not even gonna
He was
humor.
attracted to her. In previous episodes, we've established that.
No, he's just she like he's just really he's a sucker for boobs like most guys are.
I guess so.
He's attracted to freaking he's attracted to a rocket for crying out loud. That's what he's attracted to.
Yeah, but he's like she's like his number two.
What happens to Hatsume and Bakugo? I thought you were more a fan of that.
Yeah, I am. I'm just saying that she's his number two. You know, maybe. Yeah,
I'm surprised you not say Frommy's his number two.
Rocky's nobody's number two.
Speaking of Froppy, before we move on from this, apparently I didn't know this, but apparently she's freaking really popular. I'm not sure where she is on, I guess, popularity scale, but she's really popular over here. I think from what I overheard. Um, only learned this because I had a I saw a picture of a cosplayer dressed up as Froppy. Just thought
Yeah,
just thought I'd let you know that, so you probably looked it up.
Rocky's like she's that type. Like she's like a fun like lesser character in My Hero Academia. I do want to say one thing before we move on now. The This character, I feel like it's really interesting that she introduced like reintroduced herself into the series with a flying eye camera because you remember like a couple series ago, like I was going on about how she's my first suspect for somebody that would be the leak, like the spy outside.
Uh huh.
So I found it really interesting that series it gives you little tiny hints, you know, in a playful way, like would kind of like reintroduce her with like a spy cam basically.
So you're still on the whole that she's a spy.
No, I don't think it's as simple as she's a spy. I think that she could be selling equipment to both sides and just being so passionate about having equipment like as her like you know and reasons to make it and stuff like that that she just doesn't care who she makes it for.
Okay, I got a question for you. Mainly because I don't think there's such thing as a villain support item person.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really wrong to um? Is it really morally wrong to, I guess, go to a hero school and go into support classes, but then to come out making support items for both sides of the playing field? If you're really
It's
just
probably
trying to make a
pretty
living.
wrong to make. It's probably pretty wrong to make them for bad guys, but I mean, people that are like literally villains, it's probably bad business too for you because you know if the villains get what they want to do, then I don't know, businesses suffer when villains win. But I do think that like she probably just has the way she sees it. She just wants to make support items, and she doesn't care who she makes them for. And that spy eye like could be something that she's making for a villain. Like right now, you don't know. They don't explain what it's for. She's oh sorry, I was making that for you know whoever. Like she just takes it back and they give it back to her without asking questions.
I don't know. I just feel like, and this is just me. Like, Hatsume's not one of my favorite characters by any stretch of the imagination. I do like when she shows up, but even with her personality the way it is, I still
Mm-hmm.
think, in my honest opinion, considering that there are schools that train villains from the way
Uh-huh.
Toga acts, um, I think I don't. This is just me. I don't think she's that dumb or that like. Not shouldn't say dumb. I don't think she's that like carefree that anybody could just use a weapon or anything she's made because she even like when she got first introduced. I feel like she was very picky on who she wanted to, I guess, show these things off to or even let use. Um, because I mean, for kind of like when she was against Ida, she had plenty of opportunities before she had fought against Ida to like use other players as like guinea pigs, but she granted now it could have just been one of those like random bits of fate that she just randomly came up across Ida. But at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, she had plenty of other people that could have used hover boots and stuff like that. She could have just given things off to have the because she knows that the big businesses are out there looking at this thing, and she's trying to get her name known. Um,
I know.
for me, it just seems like one of those things. Like I don't think she's that carefree, as even though she appears to be, I feel like she's one of those characters who secretly puts on a facade, only so you find out later on that that was just a fake side of her. She puts this on so people let their guard down around her. I
Okay,
don't
so
know.
let's extend this a little bit. We know from I think it's season 2 episode that villains do get some sort of support items because of that black market guy that came in and sold them some stuff in season 2 earlier on. And we know that at least one person can get it, Toga can get in to the place you're changing.
Before
Right.
you move on, yes, Majestic Beard, we're talking about we're throwing that hypothetical, I guess, of we're talking about like support. We're talking about Hatsume in particular, and like in her I guess in her blonde stupidity, I guess we could call it, she would be accidentally, outfitting villains with her with her support items. But continue, Jock.
Okay. Just to recap for a second, the we have that moment in I think season 2 where the guy comes into the like a black market guy and he sells the League of Villains some support items. We know that Toga was able to infiltrate into the place and shape change into somebody that this character would normally try. We know that this character is completely absorbed in what she's doing and just gets really enthusiastic mostly about what she's doing, not necessarily why she's doing it. To the point that like she just completely hijacked and threw a match in My Hero Academia, just and turned it into one giant like let me market my materials ploy. And so we know that like she gets caught up in the idea of doing what she's doing and promoting it, and finding opportunities to make this stuff and so forth. So is it possible that Toga could shapeshift into somebody, or that a black market person could message themselves as being a good to, or even just someone that she sold something to with no questions asked, and take advantage of her skills and get support items over to the bad guys?
Here's the thing. I said this before. I don't think she's that dumb, and the whole idea of somebody, I guess, taking advantage of her getting absorbed into her own work. Considering that, considering this, let's just go back. Considering that, is this man's Power Loader? Yeah, Power Loader is his name. Power Loader said, she, she doesn't get absorbed into her work, but she's trying everything she can. She's made 1,000 things. Half the things
Yeah.
that half the things she's made don't work. Um, as a black market enthusiast or a black market dealer, I wouldn't go to somebody like that. First of all, because like most of the stuff she makes don't work. Very few things that and then she also has a handful of things that probably do work. But at the same time, I don't know if I was May House. Well, I don't think May Hasumi would just, considering that she waits every year like that she's been inside the school to I guess promote herself through the UA festival or whatever it is. I don't think she would just like, even if a black market person proposed themselves as, I guess, one of the higher class support companies. I think she would know better to do some research and due diligence before she would even say yes. I feel like
I haven't seen anything about her personality that says she gives a shit.
that's not saying that she doesn't have that in her personality. Like I said before, half the this side of her is probably just one side of her. We don't know a lot about her because like I said before, she pops in and pops out. Now, am I saying that my side's actually illegitimately like wrong or right? No, shoot, she could just be that idiot, that dumb. But at the same time, it just seems kind of weird that she would go out of her own way to go to it if she didn't care that much. In my honest opinion, if she didn't care who bought her stuff and she just wanted
Yeah.
publicity, she wouldn't come to a hero school. She would probably go to some, like, I guess, trade school or something like that. And it didn't, after getting out of there and then doing support items on the side. it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit her. The motive you're proposing doesn't really fit what she's doing because she's in a hero school making hero support items. She can only make another thing to support item people can only make things to boost people's active quirks. So they would need to know she would need to know first of all what the quirk was that she's trying to make the support item for. I don't think she can just whip up like a random item that just doesn't amplify a quirk.
So what does a drone do? Like a boost somebody's quirk?
Doubt it. Hero schools arguably get the most attention. Okay, good point. Good point. She probably wouldn't. She probably go to the hero school, but what you ask? What about what now?
No, Majestic Beard makes a good point though. Like she doesn't have to be going there because you're saying that she must be going to a hero school because she wants to be a hero.
No, I'm not saying. No, that's not what I. That's not what I'm saying.
And I'm saying that just an equally possible scenario would be she's going to a hero school because it offers her the best opportunities and training.
No, what I'm saying is that I'm not saying she wants to be a hero. She's already stated that's not her purpose. She's trying to make hero support items. She isn't there to be a hero. She's already stated this.
Or even to be heroic.
I'm not saying she's there to be heroic either. I'm just saying, if in my honest opinion, if what you're saying is that what I'm taking from what you're saying is that all she's really trying to do is just sell her stuff. In my honest
opinion, saying that all she's really trying to do is she loves making this stuff, and selling that stuff allows her to keep making it. So if she can just, I think she doesn't care a lot about it as long as she gets to tackle the, what's going on.
Okay, well here's my argument towards that. If she doesn't care about what she's making, or she doesn't have an attachment to it, why call it a baby? Now you could make a bunch of arguments about the terminology she's using for her stuff, but this is my argument. And so this is gonna come down to the fact that she's female, but putting that aside, um, she okay, let's say that she has no interest in I guess she has no interest in getting relationship or whatever. She's more interested in making stuff. I feel like she has an attachment to that stuff, so I don't think she would just randomly, even if she's trying to make money to continuously make it. I don't think I don't think she has that much of trouble. She would have that much trouble getting her hands on that stuff, considering how eccentric she is.
What if
So
she just loves it and she's calling it my babies because she loved it and she loved the process of making it? Don't forget, she worked really hard to make it, so of course she's going to call it.
the other point is she would need to know the quirk to work on something, and if she's constantly making herself known, it's very possible for her to get private orders.
Exactly.
But would they be giving would they be giving a trainee private order? Well, I mean trainee, what like a student private orders? Like would a hero really? I guess there's nothing saying that they don't. But
it's nothing saying they don't, and also don't forget like the heroes in My Hero Academia get real right.
What happened? What?
The heroes in My Hero Academia get real work, right?
But yeah, but they're not. The heroes you're referring to, I think the ones you're referring to, they're actually heroes. They're out there, putting their lives on the line, not the students.
Really? So why did she try so hard to market her stuff at the tournament? If it doesn't matter.
Like this. No, what I'm truly saying here is that you're making the argument that she doesn't care who gets her stuff as long as she's able to, I guess, either gain recognition or like get a profit.
Even if she cares a little bit, I think she cares enough. Whereas, like, if somebody gave her a reason to say, "Okay, that's fine," then she would just rush over that part. I don't think she's gonna do her due diligence and make sure everything is super pure in every order. I think if she just somebody came up and said, I'm from Hero Tech to I'd like to put in this order, I think she'd be like, all right, great, you know what I mean? And slightest amount of validation to that, and then she'd be ready to go.
But the thing is, in my mind, this is just in my mind. If that was really the case, she should have went to a villain school or whatever, or did something. I mean, I don't think like regardless of the recognition, that she probably or the better opportunity she could get from going to hero school, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
it would be impossible for her to get those same opportunities. I mean, they probably come to her faster if she went to hero school, but like, if she's really just trying to make things better and make more stuff and stuff like that, time shouldn't really matter for her, if anything, because if she could get better at what she's doing, time shouldn't be an issue. And the only real reason why you would go to a hero school if you're really just trying to like get people to take her stuff, the only reason why you would go to a hero school is just to speed that process up. But at the same time, I just don't think, in my mind, nothing really substantial to support it. I just have a feeling that, um, I feel like she just wouldn't do that, and I'm not nothing she's done, and nothing I've seen ahead of you has stated any of that. But it's just one of those things. I don't think, considering that she chose to go to UA, she would be that unconscious, regardless of like you're gonna buy my stuff. Sure, I won't. I don't care what you're gonna use it for. I feel like a support item maker would care a lot more about who and what is using their stuff. That's just me.
Yeah.
Like now, granted, like you said before, she's very, very enthusiastic, so she probably won't even care. I just like I feel like yeah, you have a point, but I also feel like I also have a point. I don't know 100% like now like is she doing it? I have no idea. Considering we had that one mustard dude in season 3 and during the camp thing, but nothing to that. There's no point. There's nothing suggesting that mask came from her. Because you would think that the character would have mentioned like some pink haired girl was stupid enough to
They
give me
did
this
mention
mask.
though in that scene with the black market, they did mention that it's very hard to get support items, and they really valued this black market guy because it was very hard to get support items.
Assuming villain schools are even a thing, a hero school would be better because it would be bigger in the public eye, and arguably she would have more potential of people to make items for.
Mm-hmm.
But couldn't the same be said about a hypothetical villain school? There should be a lot of villains out there who want somebody to make stuff for them. Like, I mean, as a good point as that is, I feel like the point's to be made for the villains as well.
Okay.
What I like the thing is okay for you're saying there's these all these heroes and she has a better opportunity going to a hero school. She has the opportunities are just that much greater in I guess in the hero public eye. Like you would think in a hypothetical villain school, a villain school would be more on the ground for a villain school to be successful. You know what? Fine, I give up at this point. You win. Okay, you guys win. I give up.
Beard. High five.
I give up. Fine.
That's the,
Screw it.
that's the first
She's
time
just
he's ever
that
given
dumb.
up.
Okay, fine. She's just that dumb. I give up. Let's move on. I'm not salty. You're salty. Um
You're salty.
moving on from that. Well, I guess before we move on, she brings up that she's making a glove to help him with his I guess his projectile work or whatever, and she was gonna give it to him before the tournament. Which, by the way, in the preview for this episode, we do see that he's wearing very big gloves, so that didn't take long. But that dumb or that smart?
Beard's just owning you at this point.
I feel like that'd be a dumb decision though. Like that wouldn't be smart at all. If you're making the argument that like if she's like doing this and she doesn't care, I feel like that's a dumb thing. Like that's not smart at all.
Why not?
You're helping the villains. If
Okay.
like and then you also brought the fact too for villains they have to do on the ground that'd be successful for it to be successful. Like how is that? How is a villain getting your item gonna help you get more get more to get more like I guess business? Because like I said before, her stuff is a 50-50. It either works or it doesn't. Like there's no in
I
between.
don't think that what you're saying is true. I think that by the time something makes it outside of, I think by the time something hits the market for her, it works.
I just don't think. I kept going back on this after I said I quit. I'm not gonna talk about it, but uh, I just don't think she's that dumb. I really just don't think, and I truly believe her giving up the villains is a dumb decision. I mean, if you can change my mind on that, if you can change my mind on that, be my guest. But I think it's a dumb decision. I think it's a dumb thing for her to do. And yet, so far, I had nothing. I haven't heard anything from you two that changes my mind on that subject.
Hmm. But okay,
Jock is
so two
super low
things.
in volume. That's weird.
I moved a little closer to my microphone, Elizabeth.
I could
I
up
moved
the
it.
volume on my desktop. That should help.
Okay.
I hope. I hope.
Um.
But if you're not there to be a hero, then that is not dumb. It's basically a possible funding from many candidates, allowing her to keep creating.
So say you have two groups of people and they're fighting each other and they have nothing. They're on like an island. They have nothing except their hands and fists. And then somebody sells one side of the army sticks, and now they one side has sticks and the other side has their fists. The one with sticks is going to win, and then if somebody comes up to the other side and says, "Hey, do you want to buy sticks?" They're going to be like, "Hell yeah, I want to buy sticks. I don't want to get already getting beaten by sticks. I want to do some of the beating too." So they're going to buy sticks. And you go to the other side and you say, "I've got metal sticks," and they're like, "Hell yeah, I want to get metal sticks. Like I want the advantage again." And then you go back to the other stick and like, "Yeah, I'm gonna need it or I'm gonna get my ass kicked." You If you sell to both sides, like you increase the demand for both sides at the same time. And yeah, it's only dumb if you get caught. To what Beard said,
It's still a dumb decision. You're
it's an
not
unethical
convincing me
decision. It's not.
otherwise.
It's an
Cause
unethical decision, but the more you sell, the more people need to buy to catch up.
I'm just not convinced that she's that dumb or that smart. How about
Mm.
that? I like it's just one of those things to me. To me, it seems like something like she's gone to a hero school, rolled into a hero course because she didn't make the hero cut for whatever reason she was there for. But at the same time, it feel like for me, if I was making support album, I feel like I want the support of the heroes, not the villains. And the whole
But like,
getting, and then the
what
whole
if it's
getting
not that
caught thing.
complicated to her? What if she's not thinking about it beyond this person told me they want me to make this for them and they'll get it? Like, what if it's not more complicated to her and then this person gave me an order about it?
Well, that whole thing of her getting orders, the villains really try to order through her when she spends most of her time. Because at this point, we've only ever seen her now in the lab. I'm not convinced that she even leaves that place. Considering that she also says she doesn't shower because it's too much of an inconvenience. But
Okay, but we do know that someone can infiltrate and put an order in on their own because they can take her shape. And we also know that there's black ops people that might be doing something.
well, you're assuming that Toga is going to go in there and order for every villain in town.
The what?
What I just heard, you're assuming that Toga will go in there and order, and, like, make orders for lots of villains.
Well, we know for a fact that she's not making orders for every villain in town because only if have anything, right?
I don't think any of the friggin' villains, even on her site, even have support items.
Well, like Mustard, for example, we knew had something, right?
Yeah, but I think that's from somebody else. I don't think it's really from her. Now, I'm nothing saying that it isn't, but at the same time, he didn't mention anything that would suggest that he got it from somebody who was dumb enough to, give
Okay,
him
what
this.
about literally that spy drone that she made today? What if that is something that she makes for the League of Villains without knowing it?
I'm just not convinced that she's that dumb. I mean, if you think that's a smart decision, fine. I mean, all the more power to you. I really Like I'm fighting every bone in my body just trying to even like make sense of that in my own brain. It's just like, yeah, from a business standpoint, I don't think she's in it for the money. But a lot of this you like a lot of things you said makes sense from I guess a monetary business standpoint. But I feel like if that was her main goal to begin with, I think she'd be fighting for it a lot harder than she is. I don't think she's
Mm-hmm.
really fighting for it that hard, honestly. If she's really trying to, and I know she stated that if she wants to, gain publicity, she wants to become famous. This is her main goal. At the same time, it's like you're not fighting for it that hard, and your whole idea that she'd be willing to give to both sides. I don't know. Like maybe she would. Maybe she would. I don't know. She has nothing's been said about her personality that says either or.
Yeah.
I mean, internet exists in this world, so if she has a private email, then there you go. I would make an argument that she didn't know what internet it was, but no, I can't say that. There's no way she doesn't know what internet is. I'm just personally not convinced that she's like that. I guess naive. That's a better term. I don't think she's that naive. Nothing has ever sat there and said that she isn't or isn't. I just don't think personally she's that naive. Because a person to be able to make that kind of stuff, I really think you had to be really freaking smart. I think you had to have an IQ higher than like the average person in that world. Which, by the way, the average person has a quirk, so you had to have a pretty high quirk. I mean, pretty high intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't think.
Yeah, she's not very intelligent, so.
How is she not that intelligent? She's making these things that no average person can make.
Yeah,
No,
she's super
no.
smart.
Don't get me wrong. I think May is a good girl, but these
Yeah.
are just counterpoints to what you're saying.
I don't know. At least at the end of the day, at least she's not a bad father.
Moving on. Um, well, there's really much to say past like Deku learn. Oh, we do I guess end the episode off with like Gentle and La Brava, and we get a little bit more background, if you can say background on their relationship. Um, Apparently La Brava packed all her stuff up and just showed up at his door by hacking his YouTube account. Which, by the way, that's very, very legal.
Well, I mean, that's a really weird thing to bring. She found him, but
What I'm just saying, it just seems like from the way she acts around them and stuff like that, she's definitely much more than a fangirl, even though that's what she's coming off to be. But it just seems like
yeah.
to me like that seems like a lot to do just for some guy who, by the way, nobody at the time knew what his face looked like. Yet she still went out of her way to backwards track him through his IP address. Which, by the way, according to him, he didn't even know how to edit a YouTube video or whatever. So, and he just uploaded things to the internet. And somehow she managed to track a guy who didn't know what the heck he was doing on the internet. I mean, I don't
Mm-hmm.
think it's that hard to track someone who doesn't know what they're doing on the internet because they'll just give out just about anything. But I feel like to me, it's a part of her character that we should probably explore. Like, what kind of woman would go out her way to track a creepy old man through the internet who was supposed to be a bad guy, who didn't know a dang thing about how to be a villain or even the internet for that matter?
You said
Her, I
she's like 20
think it was like
or
21 or 22.
25,
She might have been like
21 or
19 or
22.
18 when she found him because she was definitely younger looking when we saw her flashback.
Yeah.
Her design and her personality, I think she's fantastic. Oh, I'm not saying that LeBron is a bad character. I'm just saying I think we should explore, I guess, her character because we didn't do it last week because she wasn't in there, or she wasn't in there that often, or she didn't do anything that I think deserved talking about. Um,
Right.
I mean, she didn't really do much here either, but we're learning more about her that she clearly is really intelligent because she's a hacker. Uh, so like it explains why she was able to find the internet in the first place. Um, she must know about like SEO because she was able to boost his view count almost immediately as soon as she started working on it. So she's very
Mm-hmm.
tech savvy, much more so than Gentle. Um, so like she's already we're already learning more about her um already just because like small things she's done, things that he couldn't do. Uh, we're also learning that I don't know if this whole trading of "I love you" is like real love or does he just appreciates her. I think she's in love with him. I don't know. Can be said what can be said about Gentle towards her, but I do believe that she is in love with this man because she really tracked him through the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what can be said about him though. He has said that he loves her, but I don't know if that's like the same love that she's reciprocating on him or not. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I would say she's at least infatuated with him.
And this
I'm sorry if that.
hmm?
I mean, I'm sorry if you're looking for more, but I would just say like she's at least infatuated with this guy.
I mean, what are your thoughts on the character that we have seen at this point as it is?
I think there's not a lot to her, but I think she's cool. I don't know. Like, I think she's got a skill set, but she's not blowing me away. Otherwise, she just seems like she's got skills, and it's I don't know if it's meant to be looked into as deeply as you're looking into it. I mean, I guess a little bit. I don't, but she just seems like she just found a good fit with this guy, and she showed up. Like, what do you think, Beard? Since you seem to like this character so much.
I don't even know how much. Like, he might know more than I do, or she. I'm not sure. I don't want to assume gender.
Beard slightly suggests a male, but
I'm not assuming gender. I'm not doing what you're doing. I mean, yeah, I do know more about her. I mean, even the more I do know about her, I think they explore in this episode, so you'll find out. Um, I just think it's really weird. I mean, honestly, episode alone, I think it's really weird. You may not find it weird, but I think it's really weird that she shows up at his doorstep with, I assume, all her belongings, saying that she wants to help him out. Like, first of
mm-hmm.
all, knowing that she's 20 something at this point, she had to be at least 18 or 19 when she showed up at his doorstep. Do you think that's a little bit odd, especially for a woman?
Yeah. It's not the only thing odd about this situation, but it's definitely odd
Okay, what else did you find odd about this situation?
that she wants to be like to help a criminal, for example.
Uh, maybe she has low self esteem.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely possible.
I
But
only
I would say
keep
that's probably
I only keep up with the anime. I am a dude, but based off of her obsession, I do think that La Brava loves Gentle in a romantic way. It might not have started that way at first, but I think that it's at that point now. Gentle, on the other hand, it's hard to place at the moment. I actually agree with that.
what is it?
Beard is essentially saying that. Well, first of all, Mister Beard. First of all, and secondly, um, he's pretty much sitting there saying, "You say that she's affectionate of him, but at least from me and his point of view, it looks like she's romantically interested in him. As for where Gentle's feelings are placed, we can't tell right now because he hasn't done much. But she is all over him. Like she's done nothing but be all over him. I swear,
Yeah.
if this show had like a if this show an R rating, we probably would have seen her suck his dick. Moving on though.
Good morning, Vietnam.
I apologize for the imagery I may have this placed in everybody's mind.
Wow.
I'm just saying, from where I'm standing, that's
Uh-huh.
that's what I had pictured. Like at this point, that's what I pictured. Like what would have happened if this had a rating beyond up to 13 and up. Just saying,
Uh-huh.
that would have been a lot more sexually suggestive.
Wow.
But I'm just sitting there saying, the things she's done, even though she's done a lot, it's still very weird, considering that she's very from where she's standing. She's not.
What did he say?
Oh my god!
Yeah, I got to agree. She's just the right height.
Oh, what have I started? What have I made?
She's got to climb Mount Gentleman. That's all I'm saying.
Oh dear! What have I done? Dig it! I
Well
know what I
played,
done.
Beard. Well played.
I know what I've done, and I'm not ashamed. I agree. She's definitely at that whole knee height. Moving on. I forgot where I
Well,
was.
maybe a little bit taller than the knee, but yeah.
Where was I?
She can definitely hang with gentlemen. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, now these jokes are getting a little bit staled out, but
I see.
dang it, I forgot where I was. I think it was about LaBrava.
Um,
No, I just think as like from all that we know about her now, we know she's really intelligent. She knows she can hack things. It's a very weird, even what you said before. She literally, for what it looks like, dropped her life, packed all her stuff up, shipped out for this man's house, and is now at this point that we know living with him, making him tea that apparently he can't even make correctly himself.
uh-huh.
It's a very weird situation. I would even call it almost close to Stockholm syndrome, but he isn't keeping her captive as far as we can tell. As far as we can tell, I'd say that she's definitely romantically interested in him, and he is not taking any signs. He's got the typical blockheaded anime male syndrome going on there. I'm just saying that's what's going on here. She's making obvious advances towards him, and he is not seeing any of it. Like, she wants to ride Mount Gentle, and she ain't getting it. I think that's about it. Like, we see that he's planning. He's pretty much been staying up for, I guess, hours on end, preparing his his plan. Which actually, I guess, an interesting thing too, and with the whole villain side thing. We see a little bit more of his character, and he, from the sound of it, isn't really a bad guy, which is weird.
The gentleman guy?
Yeah,
I guess so.
but no, he's not. I mean, he's concerned about hurting people, even though he's a villain. He shouldn't be that concerned. I mean, I know LeBron was more concerned about the children, but he at least seemed to like everything he's done was more to make a statement than do anything bad. I mean, he literally robbed a convenience store only to drop the money just so that J Store could be outed as having selling overdue yogurt or pudding. I'm not sure what it was, but he has done things like, I mean, Chisaki did weird things, but at least he was intending on hurting people. He's not,
Right.
as far as I can tell. Yeah, as far as I can tell, General has no intent on hurting anybody. He's just out there trying to make statements. What for?
Right.
I don't know. So it seems kind of weird. Like in all the things that he's done, he's a very clumsy guy. He doesn't know how to do anything. Just because he's a bad guy doesn't mean he's a bad guy. Zangief, Wreck-It Ralph.
Wow.
Did he really pull a Wreck-It Ralph reference? How dare you, sir? How dare you? And went to Zangief too. I can actually remember that scene. But yeah, it's just one of those weird things, and I feel like these two have a really weird situation. It seems like to me, Labrava came out of nowhere, and it seems like like what she's done is like usually typical of a character whose life isn't really all that great. Like she's intelligent, but it seems like she does not have much going out. She doesn't really have much going for her. Uh,
Mm.
so the whole concept, of, it seems kind of weird that she's shacking up with a villain. Well, I mean, if your life was going horrible and nobody liked you and you couldn't get a decent job, I'm pretty sure the next thing you're probably looking for is the villain side.
Totally.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, I can understand that some of her actions kind of make sense, others don't. Um, the romance, however, that is very random, and uh, I feel bad for her because Gentle is not doing anything about it. Um, that's about it. I think the next thing we can talk about is just a little bit we see in the next episode, and we got the title episode called Gentle versus Deku. So that fight's happening.
Uh-huh.
I'm surprised it happened so fast. But this is kind of where I'm sitting here saying I know what happens after this little arc of the festival, but the thing is, I don't know if we're gonna get it this season, which irritates me so much because I think it's pretty awesome what happens after this, and I don't know if we're gonna have to wait till October or we're gonna have to wait forever.
The other seasons are 26 episodes, so we have like 5, so we don't have.
Yeah, they're definitely
straight
ending it.
up.
They're like this is gonna be the final arc. If it's only 26, but yeah, there's no way. What happens in the
Yeah.
next arc takes too much time. Ah, dang it! I'm gonna go on another reading manga to go further. I'm calling it now. I'm sorry,
That's gonna be
Jock. I mean, if I'm ruining it for you, I don't have the patience.
You're not ruining it for me, but it'd be fun to go through the journey with you. I remember when we were like guessing everything with Dragon Ball Super, and we're like,
I get that, but I get that, but I'm very impatient.
yeah,
Because another thing too is that I mean, you're very convinced that they're gonna keep making this until the series ends, but I don't know. I've seen too many animes where like they do one season and it takes years, and sometimes they never come up with season two. It just takes
I can't believe.
years.
I mean, anything's possible now. I could have sworn that Dragon Ball Z was going to be another season.
Well,
I
the
couldn't
manga's
even.
still going on. I don't even know what's happening there. I've seen the things. I've heard the new main villain in the super manga. I
Yeah,
haven't read it. I haven't read it
Moro or something,
because,
right?
huh?
Moro or something, right?
Yeah, I forgot. I haven't read it, and I don't know. I know certain things. Vegeta's apparently more powerful than Goku right now. I don't know what's happening in there. I really don't.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. Like, um,
Didn't like Master Roshi get Ultra Instinct or something too?
it happened during their version of the Tournament of Power.
Yeah.
He did something that resembled Ultra Instinct. I don't think they called it Ultra Instinct, but I think he did something that resembled it, and it's the reason
Uh-huh.
why Goku was able to do it in the manga. So it doesn't just come out of nowhere when he finally gets it, like it
Right.
does in the anime. So yeah, that's a thing and a half. But I still don't know what's happening in there. I really freaking don't. And maybe what they're doing is that they're still gonna animate it, but maybe they're waiting until the arc ends.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's gonna happen. Maybe they're waiting until the arc ends. I don't know. Um, but it's like for the reason I'm more impatient with My Hero Academia than I am with Super. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. I guess I still got
Yeah.
other anime I can watch, so I could easily just okay, just hold off on it and just go watch something else. If a season 5 gets confirmed, I'll say it now. If they confirm a season 5, I won't go any further in the manga and I'll just watch other things. And we can like watch and react to like Read or Die since you already know everything about that anime from the beginning to
Mm-hmm.
the end. So I'll mark it
That
down
would
now.
be super fun.
Bro, I waited so long for a new season of Hayako, and we got a new one. Plus, after all these years, Fruit Basket's got to remake. Anything is possible. I mean, that is true. I'm not saying it is impossible, but I'm just saying the main reason why. And I'm sorry I ruined the journey for you a little bit with me knowing more than you do. But like I said, for me, it was more that and I really blame listening to a lot of before I end this off here. I really blame, hearing like, oh my goodness, overhaul's the best, harder, dirty. I really blame that because I was interested in seeing who this character was, and that's one of the reasons I went and read it because I wanted to see what all this was because people were saying he's better than Stain, and at this point, even watching it a second time, I can honestly sit there and say this much: he is not better than Stain. He is definitely not better than Stain. I don't care what anybody says. Stain is pretty much greatest of all time until somebody else, does better than him. Which honestly, I feel like Shigaraki is gonna get to that point. He's not there yet, but I think he will be better than Stain at some point. Whenever that happens, I don't really know. But I will say that I'm actually invested in Shigaraki's development. So I mean, he's not there yet. Stain is still
There's
better.
a lot of dead ends that are really going to drive if they don't continue. There's a lot of dead ends that are going to really drive me nuts if they don't like continue the series though. Like not just that. Like I want to know for example like what happens next with the League of Villains. I want to know about the training dichotomy between All Might like training Deku directly and One for All like being like, oh, you're doing a disservice to him. I'm the one that's really training him by letting him go and blah blah blah. And like I want to know how that goes. I want to know how these characters grow up. I want to know how Uraraka turns out. Like there's so many like threads of story right now that I'm going to be really disappointed by if like they can't start wrapping them up.
They'll get wrapped up in the manga, just the anime won't wrap it up. I mean, just because the anime is gonna just doesn't animate any further, the manga's still gonna keep going until the creator deems that he needs to end the series.
Yeah.
The anime only follows what the creator gives them. So
Yeah.
also Miyoria was cool, but I still like Deku more. Um it's just one of the things I followed Deku from the very beginning. I did not follow Miorio from when he at the very beginning. So that's just my take on that whole thing. Beard, you can like Miorio and you can definitely think that he deserved to have all for one. I mean one for all more than Deku, but I think Deku at the end of the day um I think he deserved it a little bit more. Not by much, but I think he deserved it a little bit more. This is my opinion. Um,
I agree. I want also just want to throw out there, Beard, that the two of us were talking about this. Who deserved all for one? Wasn't Midoriya like a long time ago now, like a couple seasons ago? And my first pick for the person that could have been, they could have had it would have been the person from Class 1B with the really big hands. That seems to be like the kind of the leader of Class 1B. That was my first pick after Midoriya for somebody that could have done a really good job with uh, All for One or One for All. I mean,
it's amazing we're 4 seasons in here. We still get the names mixed up for those powers.
yeah. Sorry about that.
No, it's no problem. I get it mixed up. I do it all the time. Like I'm just as guilty of it as you are. But I guess we talked about you said the train dichotomy of All Might and stuff like that. I will say that I don't know. I feel like now this is the thing. I know they stated officially here that like Deku had asked All Might how did he learn how to control 20 to 30. Um, I think he also said Red Riot was a good candidate for One for All. All for One. I mean, dang it, yeah, I was right. Dang it, I was right the first time. One for All, but I was right the first time. Dang it, doubted myself. But but yeah, train dichotomy. I don't know. I feel like I may have accidentally said this earlier on that All Might was All Might was able to use all of the power at once when he got it. Um, I guess my biggest question, and I know you won't be able to answer it because I can't even answer it. But the biggest question I've actually posed when I first saw those words from All Might is that I don't know. I haven't been in a situation I was able to use all the power at once. What is so different between quirkless All Might and quirkless Deku? To me, they from a overall standpoint, they shouldn't be that much different. Like All Might as a kid, Toshinori, what his real name was, he had the same desire, willpower as Deku, um, to want to do good and want to be a hero. The only difference is, and I feel like this will be different for Deku, but I don't know why it isn't. Is the fact that like um Toshinori had Nana Shimura to inspire him, um, but he was able to use all the power, and we don't know what her situation was with All for One for All. Dang, I keep messing that up. One for All. We don't know her situation with that power. We don't know if she had another quirk on her. When she had that power. But she gave it to All Might, and he flat out said that he was able to use all of it at once. He didn't have any problem drawing out all the power of One for All. Um, the
But
only
they've
thing I
also
would
said that it takes a different form in every person that gets it, and that it gets more powerful every time a new person gets it.
Yeah, but no, but the thing is though, as far as I can tell, Deku is the only one of all the users that's never been mentioned. Now I'm not sitting there saying that it hasn't happened before, but as far as I
Mm-hmm.
can tell, All Might hasn't stated it either. Though other users had the same issues as Deku. Deku's body just couldn't handle it because um when All Might got it, he was like well past the point where he could have developed a quirk too. So like it's just one of those things where like I know all Gran Torino said that All Might had the body going for him, but that's so vague. I don't know what that means. Like that doesn't mean anything. Like he had the body. Like All Might trained Deku like for an entire month before he went for the exam and helped him build his body up. Like they're like and like I don't know the answer to this question because these are questions I'm asking. But it
Mm-hmm.
still bugs me that I don't have an answer to this day. And
Yeah.
I would love to know what is the difference between those two because it doesn't make any sense from a logic standpoint. If if
Yeah.
Deku has problems with it, All Might should have had problems with it, but he straight up said he didn't. Something's not right. And I
Like I
don't
told you, I feel like All Might had like a quirk. I feel like his muscle form was like a quirk, but like a useless quirk without All for One. Majestic, what I was saying about candidate for um
if Fat Gum got
well,
one well I guess let's cut you off
yeah.
here sorry, but if Fat Gum got that power, and this is the ultimate situation for Fat Gum that I imagine. If he had that power, he wouldn't use it when he was in fat form. He'd
Mhm.
use it when he's in skinny form. Like, that would be the ultimate situation for him to use it because he's a glass cannon otherwise.
Majestic, what I was trying to say before I got spoken over was we
Sorry.
were talking about the perfect personality to have One for All, not the perfect power combination. So when I was saying the one with the big hands, I thought she was level headed, she was smart, she knew how to use her powers. Like it was also kind of proven because her quirk isn't that good, but like she was able to really, really use it well, keep together, have the personality, have the heroic side to her, and just make really smart decisions. That's why I had picked her. If we're talking about power combinations, then that's a totally different story. Like who would be the most broken with it is like a completely different prospect than what you're talking about. And then yeah, like combining it with a defensive quirk, for example, is a really cool idea. Yeah, you're totally right. It's a really good, like, cool thing to think about.
I mean, you brought up. I think I made my argument that I didn't make it too well. I think because I don't know who I was. I feel like I know Bakugo was in there. I know I slid his name, but I don't know why. I really do feel like
Mhm.
in my opinion, I think Bakugo, power combo aside, I think Bakugo has level headedness in him. I really do think
Mhm.
he has level headedness in him. Granted, more so now than back when we probably first started talking about that. But I still think he probably And I guess at the same time it's a bad decision because we also seen that he has unlike Tendo, he has he has issues with his own self worth. So if anything, like a villain could find this out and then poke at him, and then he just lose all control. So I mean, yeah, at the same time, yeah, there's definitely a bad decision to give Bakugo that kind of power. But at the same time, I feel bad for Bakugo because he has his self worth issues. Um, and it's just one of those things. I mean, you say you feel sorry for Miyorio. I kind of feel bad for Bakugo because like looking at how he viewed the world and how he viewed Deku, it kind of feels bad for him a little bit because it's like if you viewed the world this much, Jesus, like what was his life growing up? Like why did he like? I guess a good question is running this off. Like I wonder like what the world looked like to Bakugo, through his eyes. Like what like was it truly his environment? Because I usually blame Deku's attitude on how he was raised, but I mean, granted, thinking about it now, it's a little bit of a combo of both. Granted, it seems like he was raised with like good intentions because we saw his mother, and we definitely know that she ain't no pushover. She keeps hitting him on his head. uh, his father, I don't know how much of his growing up he was even involved either. I don't really know about that.
Bakugo's?
Yeah, Bakugo.
Oh, I hope he had a good father.
You've seen his father. He seemed to be a good man. Now that let you trigger me.
So much.
As for,
have a good father.
did we see the new movie? No, we did not. At least I know I haven't.
There is a new movie?
Yeah, the new movie I was talking about with that whole before I tell you I got spoiled on like that whole it looked like the Bakugo got one for all or somehow.
Oh, we should stream that and do like a
that probably won't be happening the next year. Cause that movie's in theaters.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, I wouldn't even know where to go to see it then.
So that probably won't happen until the DVD comes out next year. I'm already calling it now. If it comes out earlier than that, I will eat a shoe. I won't eat a shoe, but that's kind of what I'm saying.
He might eat a shoe. He's been known to eat shoes in the past.
No, I haven't. That was like 2 years ago, man. Stop bringing that up.
To be fair, you fried it first. You didn't just eat it raw.
But I guess we can end this off here. Bakugo has a second quirk. His second quirk is great big balls of hate.
Did you hear about that My Hero Academia theory that came out that Midoriya was going to get a second quirk when the girl with the horn mastered his quirk, if she was able to speed forward him so that his evolution was move forward to the point where he had a quirk like everybody else, that he would then be able to get like a quirk that he doesn't have at all right now, and two quirks that and one for all. Yeah, Ari.
I've heard the quirk. I heard of this theory. I think it's ridiculous.
I think so. There was a few theories out there that I thought were ridiculous, but if Ari gives him, I'm just really bad with names, Beard. If Ari gives him evolution, which she's perfectly able to do, like the same evolution that she can use to enhance somebody's quirk could be used to get somebody to grow that second toe bone and everything else that indicates.
You already know how I feel about that extra toe bone. It doesn't make any sense. I've already stated this.
It's the people that have the toe bone also have that extra little evolutionary hop. It's like an X-Men when you have the X gene that they talk about, like the X-Men, like the mutant gene that they can test you for to see if you have a mutation. In this case, it's just easier to check for the bone than do genetic testing. But the idea is that they're genetically advanced, like they're the next level of human, and not everybody quite made it there. But the other people could be advanced, just like, you know what I mean, to the next evolution too, by somebody that can evolve or devolve somebody like Eri. So if Eri was to use that on Midoriya, then he should like theoretically get a quirk.
You already know I can't say certain things. I'm trying to derail this conversation.
Sorry.
There are things. Anyways, it's been fun. I'm gonna go watch Keep Your Hands Off. Oh, have fun with the anime. I don't know what it is, and if you do come back, let me know how it turned out.
Yeah, nice to talk to you, dude.
I think it's a good time. I think this is a good place to turn off. To end this podcast. We're already like almost 2 hours over.
Yeah, that's fine.
Next week is the Deku vs. Gentle Criminal fight. We'll see how that turns out. Even though I already know how it turns out, but Jock will see how it turns out. See you guys think.
Take care, guys.
I will at some point. I got too much stuff I gotta watch. I just gotta sit down and watch Fairy Tail and Digimon Try.